Alright, hi guys, my name is Star. So yes, this is my new room. I'm going to do a room tour video after I finish unpacking, which will take me a couple weeks. So I apologize for the messy background. That is not my intent. I am just unpacking from moving. This video is going to be really hard for me to talk about, and I've been thinking about making this video for about a year now, ever since I came out as a non-binary. And I feel like because of recent events happening to the trans community, I don't think I can stay silent any longer. I feel like I have to speak out, especially for people who identify outside of the gender binary, such as non-binary people like myself, or gender fluid people, or any other gender not in the male or female category. So for those of you guys who don't know, hi, my name is Star. I'm non-binary. I go by they, them pronouns. And I want to talk to you guys about what's been happening. So a lot of you guys may have been hearing about the news calling us groomers. The media that is run by conservatives and Republicans. A lot of news networks are saying horrible things like we're all groomers, we're all pedophiles, we all should not be near children, we shouldn't even exist. It's heartbreaking to hear all that. As a transgender person myself, it hurts me to hear that, and it hurts a lot of my friends hearing that kind of stuff. Most of my friends are trans in some way. I have a close friend of mine that is a non-binary like me, and another close friend that's trans masculine. And I know a transgender woman as well. And the news has been calling us groomers, pedophiles, school shooters, and all kinds of horrendous things. Not only that, but making fun of us, telling us that we're just mentally ill, that we aren't who we are, or that only male and female exist, and no one can identify as both or on the outside of male or female. The media has just been saying some horrendous stuff, and it makes me sad realizing how much hatred there is in the world. This video is not, I don't expect anybody to watch this, but I want to get this out. And if one person, sees it, I hope I can make a difference in a trans person's life. Now, a lot of you guys may have known that throughout my whole entire YouTube career, I never fully identified as female. To be honest, I've always known I was non-binary. I was just in denial of it, not because, I was raised by a homophobic family, because I wasn't. My family are very supportive. Although my dad in particular has a hard time adjusting to they, them pronouns, because he's never really met anybody who used they, them pronouns, but he's trying the best he can. He doesn't really fully understand, but that's all I could really ask for, is for somebody to genuinely try the best they can to gender me correctly. Sorry if my nose is kind of runny, because I've been thinking about this all day, especially today. I was at the gym, and in the middle of working out, I just thought, why do people hate us so much, I actually stopped. I actually blocked some people I used to love following, and I still do love their content, but I just can't watch it anymore because it involves news, the news. And it involves that, and it's been really bad for my mental health, and yeah, it's been really bad for me to watch the news. So I have stopped again. This time for good. I have blocked every single news network. I've blocked them all. well, as many as I possibly can. Um, but let me explain. So I've always known I wasn't male or female. Ever since I was a kid, I've always known I was not a boy, but I was not a girl either. I just felt like I didn't fit into male or female. Even though I love traditionally feminine things like dresses or makeup or like pink or like sparkles, at the end of the day, ever since I was a kid, I've always known that something was different about me, but I didn't know what. I was in denial for years because I didn't think I fit into the category non-binary, not because of the way I felt, but because of the way I dressed. I thought that non-binary had to look a specific way, but there's no specific thing that you have to do all to like prove you're non-binary. A lot of, not all, but a lot of non-binary people actually choose not to medically transition. And some only get some surgeries, but not all of the surgeries. You know what I mean? Me, I'm still looking at potential options for me to transition. Testosterone is a no because I have insecurity about my body hair enough. And also, I'm fine with having a slightly, like, I am fine with having boobs. I'm fine with having a feminine-ish voice, but I am voice training myself to have not necessarily a like deeper voice, but a more like somewhat androgynous voice, which I think the voice training is working because I compared a video of myself from a year ago to now, and a year ago I sounded way more feminine than I do now. But I still really love wearing dresses. I even have, like, the majority of the things I own are pink, in fact. I love the color pink. It's one of my favorite colors. I'm even wearing, like, I was even wearing pink lipstick earlier. It came off. Excuse me. It came off because I had to take it off for, like, eating spaghetti. And I didn't bother putting it back on because, like, I'm too lazy to, but I leave my natural look on, you know, my natural makeup look. I need to take a drink for this one. I know I'm gonna get emotional in this video, and crying causes me to be very dehydrated very fast. So I drink Propel, stay hydrated, and no, this video is not sponsored by them. Oh fuck, okay. But ever since I was a kid, I've always known I was not male or female. But I didn't know what the word was for it. I mean, as a kid, I heard about transgender men and transgender women, but I also didn't fit into being a trans woman or trans man either. I mean, I can't be a trans woman because that would just mean, if I identified as a woman, that would mean I'm a cisgender woman. But I didn't identify as female either. But I didn't, like, I thought, oh, maybe I have a bit of, like, because I like some masculine things, I must be gender fluid. So for the longest time, for 4 years of my life, I identified as a gender fluid from ages 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh yeah, from ages 14 to 17, I identified as a gender fluid, and I used she or he pronouns, she or he or they, basically. And then I, like, as I've gotten older, I've realized more and more. Sorry, it stopped recording, and I'm not gonna edit this because I want this to be serious. Like, yes, I'll be burping occasionally. But like, at 18 years old, I thought, okay, I don't feel like I'm gender fluid either. Oh, I discovered this new label, demigirl. I'm demigirl. So I identified as a demigirl for a couple months and used she, they pronouns. And then another couple months after that, I identified as pangender, which means I identify with all genders. So for a while, I went back to using she, he, or they pronouns. But then, like, I discovered another thing about myself as to why I've become way more depressed than most people do become on their periods. Menstruation is something I deal with because I was born in a female's body. And I started having panic attacks every time I had my period. I don't know why, but like even today I almost had a panic attack just from the thought of having a period and the thought of having a uterus. And in my head I always hear myself like screaming, I do not want this thing that is not supposed to be in my body. I don't want this shit in my body. I want it taken out. And nearly every day I actually think about it. In fact, I feel really sad and depressed and even suicidal only because I have a uterus, which is really dumb. But I feel suicidal when I'm on my period because people, like when I tell people, oh, I'm on my period, just to let you know, and this is why I'm acting weird, they'll be like, it's okay, women go through that. And just hearing the words women go through that hurts me so much. It has always hurt me, even as like the first time I had my period, when a teacher of mine told me, women go through this all the time, it's okay, Star. Like out loud, I just said, this is a bit awkward, okay. But in my head, like unconsciously, I guess you could say, my conscience was like, no, you're not a girl. No, you're not supposed to be going through this. You're not supposed to be having a period. You're supposed to be like, you're not supposed to have a uterus or ovaries. You're not supposed to have those parts. At the time, as a kid, I didn't understand why my brain immediately was like that. The minute I realized I had a uterus and like ovaries inside me, and like I still have thoughts like that now, where my brain's like, no, take it out, take this shit out. And I've been trying to convince doctors to please let me get my uterus removed, or at the bare minimum, let me get my tubes tied. Because I've had more mental breakdowns than I could count over having a damn uterus. I hate my uterus so much. I wish I was not born with it, to be honest. And I actually did start crying today because sometimes it's just too much for me to bear, you know? I end up crying over the fact I have an organ in my body. It sounds pretty stupid, but yes, I did cry over that. And when I have explained on TikTok, I'll be honest, this particular time is what actually made me leave TikTok permanently. I've not really talked about this, but on TikTok I made a video explaining what non-binary meant and what transition options are available and what I would personally do to transition. And for me, I would just simply get a binder and get my uterus removed and also go on hormone blockers. I don't want to go on testosterone or estrogen, but I want to get on hormone blockers as well. So that way my period will stop permanently, and to make sure that no other like hormonal changes can happen. Because I'm fine with the way my body looks other than my weight and also the way my face looks. I think my face looks too red most of the time, and also too chubby. I've always had a round face ever since I was a kid, and I still don't like the fact I have a round face. But it's even more rounder than it used to be because my body is changing more. Puberty happened slower for me because I was born with a developmental delay. So that's probably why I look and sound a lot younger than I actually am. But I want to get my uterus removed. That is set in stone. I am not going to change my mind despite what these damn doctors say. I am not going to change my mind. I'm not going to regret it. And besides, if I change my mind about having kids, adoption is always an option, or becoming a foster parent is an option. I could always adopt if I want to. But, like, the more research I do about child development, the more I realize I am not meant to have kids. I think fostering children is a more likely possibility than adoption is, to be honest. Like, I don't want to, like, take care of a child for 18 years, but I would not mind temporarily taking in a child, you know? But especially now in my 20s, I am not mentally stable enough to have a kid. Personally, like, I'm gonna wait until my mid to late 30s to decide whether or not I want to have a kid. Like, biologically, though, that is a hell no, absolutely not. No way in hell am I giving another kid my genetics. Like, no, so many health issues exist in my family, so no, I don't want to give an innocent kid that. And if I do get physically, like, you know, pregnant, why did I say physically? I'm just gonna say pregnant. Like, if I do get pregnant, the thought of pregnancy sickens me a lot because I hate the thought of going through what women go through. It makes me feel physically sick just by thinking about it. So, if I get pregnant, no matter the situation, I'm gonna have an abortion. That's it. I am not gonna, like, let anybody talk me out of it. I am going to have an abortion if I ever get pregnant. Because what I've gone through and what other family members of mine have gone through, I would never, ever, ever want to put an innocent child through that. They did nothing wrong. And also, nobody deserves to go through what me and my family have gone through. Although everyone in my family is, you know, obviously different, all of us have one thing in common, and that is we've all been through some really weird and sometimes fucked up shit. For me, it's more like mild compared to everyone else, but medically wise, I'm more severe than everyone else in my family, if that makes sense. So medically, I've gone through a lot. I still have nightmares of some of the medical experiences I've had, and I don't want to pass that down to my child, because what people don't realize, not only being trans can be sometimes traumatizing depending on when you were born and when you come out and all that, but being disabled is also somewhat traumatizing too. I know that sounds really dramatic, but hear me out. Like, I have to get checked for, like, skin cancer every year. And I have that fear in my mind, like, what if I get skin cancer? And I have to be more fearful than everyone else. I have no choice, because I'm higher risk for having skin cancer because I have albinism, which means I don't have any pigment in my skin. So, while you have color in your skin, like, for example, let's just say you were born, like, white, or you were born, like, black. Okay, let's just say you have a black father and a white mother, and they both happen to have the recessive gene for albinism. It stopped recording again. Ugh, I'm annoyed. But say your parents are two different races, or your parents are the same race. I'm just gonna say that. If your parents are both the same race, there's still a chance you could get albinism. Like, no matter what race you are, you could still get it. It's just there's only like 200 births of people with albinism per year. Only 200. It's one of the rarest conditions out there. But let's just say both your parents, father, mother, or if your like parents are able to, do this to make a baby, let's just say that the impregnator and the impregnatee, I guess, like they do the deed and you're born, but you were born with no distinctive skin color features or hair color features or eye color features that indicate which race you are. And the doctor tells you, hey, you guys both your parents happen to like have a recessive gene passed down to you that could put you at a higher risk for skin cancer, scarring of the skin, sunburns to a severe degree, burns in general, higher risk for chronic migraines, and also you have to be tested for like skin cancer and eye cancer. I believe you could get cancer in your eyes if you're in the sun too much too. And you have to like use a cane for the rest of your life, and there is no like surgery that could fix your eyesight. But you're still able to see to a very small degree. And you think to yourself, okay, I guess life won't be that hard. But then, once your friends understand what they're dealing with in regards to being around you, they all slowly start to leave you. Except for, those very, 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 very close friends that still stay with you. And imagine that you can't do certain things because it's dangerous for you. Would you want to pass that down to your kids? Absolutely not. If you're a good person, you would not get pregnant if you knew you had genetic health issues. Like, it does not matter. Like, at the end of the day, if you're a disabled person and you choose to get pregnant and you give birth to that child, knowing that they could possibly have the same genetic issues as you, you're a messed up person. Like, in my opinion, you are not a good person for putting another child through that. I know you could become disabled later in life. That is completely different. Completely different situation on its own. But if you choose to bring in a child to this world that could potentially have the same health issues as you, knowing the fact that you could pass this shit down to your kid, you're a bad person. I don't care what anyone says. You are a bad person for putting a child through that. It's one thing if it's like a mild thing, but if it's really extreme, like cases like me or anybody else who has it even worse than me, you're a selfish person for putting a child through that. I do not care what you have to say. You're selfish. Period. My parents did not know they had the recessive genes with me. They did not know they both carried the same genetic mutation that led to me being born like this, I guess. They did not know. So in my opinion, no, they're not a bad person. They're not bad people for giving birth to me. But if they had willingly, gotten, pregnant and willingly risked me having health issues, yeah, they would be a bad parent, I guess. If you willingly get pregnant knowing that your child is going or has a very high chance of having severe genetic issues and severe disabilities, you're a bad parent immediately. I do not care what anyone else says. You're a bad parent for putting a child through that. Because being disabled can cause trauma. Some disabled people get abused every day. Disabled people are the highest risk for sexual assault, hate crimes, and childhood trauma as well. I am lucky that I had supportive parents, but that still did not stop me from going through trauma. I went through some traumatic events. Once, when I was a kid, I had a ball thrown at me, and it hit me in the face so hard it knocked me down to the ground. And ever since then, I feel severe anxiety just being around a ball now. Like, if I see, like, a basketball near me, I'll already feel like I'm gonna throw up because of how anxious I feel. I was emotionally abused by teachers in the past. A lot of them, like some of them would accuse me of lying about being blind because I'm still able to see to a certain degree. Some of them would not take my concerns seriously. Some of them wouldn't listen to what I had to say. And more recently, like the reason why I left my previous group home is it took me 6 months of begging for them to take my chronic pain seriously. 6 months. That's the most recent trauma that has happened to me, was like people telling me I'm crazy because I'm in so much physical pain all the time. I even had a doctor like tell me not a doctor, but it was a assistant nurse, me and this one other girl. She was the only staff that actually listened to my concerns because she had similar experiences to me in life. She's like, why didn't you tell anybody that you were in pain? And I was like, I did. No one believed me. She's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, no one believed me. And sorry. Yeah. No one believed me for 6 months. And I didn't tell my mom until recently that I've been dealing with chronic pain. I just called her up. I was sitting in my room and I had just calmed it down from a bad mental breakdown. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to cry, but like, I just called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm in pain 24/7. And she was like, how long have you been in pain for? And I said, a year. Because like 2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago is when I told her about my chronic pain. Finally, after a year of suffering and silence, I told her, I'm in so much physical pain. I take handfuls of like Tylenol every day to like relieve the pain. I've tried every single over-the-counter painkiller and none of them even touch my chronic pain. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. No amount of painkillers, like over-the-counter, could even touch my pain that I experience. And I am not going to go and get opioids because I'm at higher risk of becoming addicted to them because of my genetic disorders. So I can't take any prescription painkillers. T-free is definitely one that I will avoid at all costs, which is one of the strongest opioids I've heard of, which is T-free. But yeah, and also the previous home I was at, almost nobody gendered me correctly. They all were like, you could only either be male or female. And nobody believed me when I said I was non-binary, so now I am relearning how to like advocate for myself more. But it's been hard because sorry, it stopped recording. But anyway, I felt like nobody was gonna care or listen, or they would think I'm crazy. Jesus Christ, this video became from me talking about my experience being trans to like my chronic pain and my disabilities. So I guess this video is gonna be talking about both those things. But like online, I've also started opening up about my chronic pain too. And a lot of people started hating on me. They were like, you're probably drug seeking, or you look like you smoke crack, or like this bitch is faking, or like obviously they're going to be lying about it because they identify as a attack helicopter. Like there have been multiple people making those jokes in my comment section, and there are people also threatening to kill me because I came out as trans and I also happen to be disabled on top of that. So people have been telling me, your parents should have aborted you. And I'm like, you're right. Logically speaking, you're right. My parents should have aborted me. Because if they had aborted me, my siblings would have had a chance at a normal life. And my parents would not be struggling with money. But because of the fact that I was born with all these medical issues, I cost them so much money, and I don't normally feel guilt or remorse given the fact I do have psychosis, but those are one of the very few things I actually do regret. I regret like having medical issues. I regret being born the way I was, because if I was born even the slightest bit different, my parents would not have to have gone through all this like financial trouble. And no, I'm not making this video for people to feel sorry for me. I just want to talk. I want to talk to everyone in my community and everyone outside of my community, so that way people are more aware of these issues and what me and many other trans disabled people who are both trans and disabled, go through. Because disabled transgender people's voices are not being heard. They are being heard way less than the average transgender person's voice. And my chronic pain has caused me to not be able to walk very much. And because of that, my body developed in a really weird way that somehow makes me more feminine. I have an hourglass figure now. Like, you guys, like, I have an hourglass figure. You can't really, well, I don't know. Can you guys see it? Hold on. You can see this shit. I have a literal hourglass figure. I can't stand up all the way because my desk is way too close to me. But yeah, I have an hourglass figure. You could see it more accurately when I'm nude, but I'm not gonna show that for numerous reasons. One, I'm not giving that shit out for free. Hell no. And two, I'm waiting until I'm 23 or 24 to like pursue sex work, because right now I look too much like a child to do that. And I know that a lot of people's OnlyFans accounts do actually get banned if they look too much like a child. And I am not kidding. Belle Delphine actually had a problem like that. And like, I'm not kidding. You can look it up. Like, multiple like people have had problems like that. A friend of mine, she did 18 plus modeling. She looks like she's 17 or 18. Oh, sorry. Wait, no, yeah, she looks 17 or 18. And she got banned off of OnlyFans multiple times. Not for violating any community guidelines, but for literally looking like a child. Like, I'm not kidding. I have a friend who's a sex worker who almost lost her main source of income only because she looks younger than her actual age. Which is why I'm waiting until I, like, look, like, passable, like I'm waiting until like people look at me and see like, oh, that's a young adult, rather than mistaking me for a child to like pursue sex work, you know. And I'm also waiting until I am recovered from my eating disorders and, you know, body dysmorphia and all that to like pursue sex work. Because right now I am not in a stable place to do that, and I'm waiting until a couple years to pursue more extreme career choices I want to make. But for now, I'm just sticking with being a lewd streamer and like content creator, like, you know, first traps, not like porn, you know. Well, actually, I do draw porn on like Twitter, but I don't promote that shit like very often because I don't want minors showing up to my Twitter and be like, yo, I'm a minor and I love your NSFW artwork. Because I don't want you guys to get in trouble for interacting with a not safe for work account. And I don't want to get in trouble from you guys interacting with my not safe for work account. Twitter is the only platform that I post not safe for work content of my art. Occasionally I do twerk on Twitter, but but yeah, the point of this video I wanted to make is please listen to trans disabled people in your life. You don't know what they're going through. And to the people calling us groomers, pedophiles, or telling us that we all should die, shame on you. Do your research. Shove that Bible up your ass, and I'm out. Later.